This is the Russian Dynamite, Masha Slamovich.
Becca here.
This is not America's Sweetheart, Davian. And
It's Billy Starks. And
the super fly guy, Trayvon Jordan.
This is the fly side flyer, Jalen Brandon.
Hardcore Princess Jewells Malone.
Hi there, this is the Bubblegum Princess, Alexia Nicole.
This is the Brazilian Wonder Woman, Christy Jane. This is the baddest black belt, Chennai Kai.
This is Kid Bandit.
The smash hit Joel Bateman.
This is Robin Renegade.
Cody Hawk.
Brutal Bob Evans. And you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment, one of my favorite podcasts in the whole wide world.
It's Aunt Mickie here telling you that you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
Hello, and welcome to the show with Wrestling with Entertainment, bringing you the latest exclusive interviews, interviewing all your favorite wrestlers every Tuesday and Wednesday on YouTube and Castbox, sponsored by Rogue Energy and Player One Talk, the only audio experience on the web today. I am, of course, your host, James J., alongside Scooter Dustin.
A man who wears a belt of watches is a waste of time.
And it's a great day for wrestling, because we are wrestling with the godmother of death matches, Auntie Mickie Knuckles!
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Mickie.
Hey, guys. Hey.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah. Let's talk at the end of the whole interview, and then hopefully it's still pleasurable.
I think we'll be fine. Could you tell us what's coming up next?
So Saturday I take on the bulldozer himself, Matt Tremont, HCO Wrestling. That's what I've really been looking forward to. Now I tagged with Matt, and he's like my brother, like legit, like my brother. So this is going to be interesting because if I know Matt's like me, and you got to pretty much kill him to pin him. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be bloody and brutal. And then I've got XPW coming up in October, taking on Ladart Shahin. I think I said her last name right. I'm terrible at her name. I butcher it every time I'm near her. She hates it. Anyways, that's why I do it, because, she hates it. Out in XPW in California. And then, of course, I'm wrestling locally as well in Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Michigan, Milwaukee. I've got ICW's Milwaukee coming up where I'm wrestling Eric Dillinger for his heavyweight belt in a hardcore match. So that's going to be nice. It'll be nice and gentle, I guess.
Damn, Mickey's busy.
I'm a single mom of 3. That's what we do. We stay busy. I got 2 jobs and I wrestle. This is how we make our money.
Oh no, absolutely. And of course, where can we find you on social media and merchandise?
I am on Twitter as @BloodyMickey. I'm on Facebook as Mickie Knuckles. Instagram is Mickie Knuckles. I try to keep it simple for people because, if you're like me, you forget everything. And as far as merchandise goes, you all need to go to Deathmatch Worldwide. Those are the one people that I trust with everything merchandise. Great guys, excellent t-shirts, soft as hell. So definitely go out to there. I've got quite a few designs on there, including one by Sez Azawa himself.
Ooh.
Very nice design.
And of course, all of those links will be in the description of the video below, both on YouTube and Castbox. Alright, so let's talk about recent stuff. You defeated Akira to win the ARW title in an electrified light tube death match. Can you tell us about that experience in capturing that title?
So anytime I wrestle Akira, it's been a war. The first time I wrestled Akira, I think we went 34 minutes, I was told, 34, 36 minutes. Went all the way outside the building, almost had the cops called on us. We're fighting in between the building itself and a McDonald's. So that was interesting. Completely brutal. I'm pretty sure I tried to break his neck on a big screen TV, so that was fun. And then, we wrestled each other again shortly after that, to where I still feel like the ref messed it up. But that's okay. It happens. And then when we wrestled at AWR, ARW, sorry, I said it right the first time. Anyways, I finally won that belt from him. And I think he might have gotten his feelings hurt a little bit, because, you know, these young pups, especially with this old lady, everybody says I'm an old lady. I'm past my time. I don't see it, but hey, just goes to show I age like fine wine.
I think that's a perfect way to put it. And I mean, if you're past your time, why should be the killer? And they are currently, you know, the AWR champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm here with you. Not to mention, I'm not one to toot my own horn. I never do. I think about 5 million other people is probably better at this game than me. But you can't tell me the last 2 years since 2020 when I came back after all that COVID crap, that every match I've been in, I have not tried to at least kill it or kill myself. And one way or another, it's entertaining. So hopefully, maybe if I make enough noise, these big boys can't keep avoiding me forever. They're starting to look like cowards, so come on, boys, line up.
And you know, obviously, speaking of killing people, what's something you won't do in that match, or something you did do that you just said, you know, never again?
What do you mean? What?
Like, what's something in that match that you won't do? I mean, like, is there something like a limit of that matches? Like, I won't do thumbtacks or fire.
No. But I don't think I've ever said no to anything. Pencils, that's because Madman Pondo told me don't fuck with pencils. Lead poisoning sucks. It feels like you're dying. And I was like, okay, well, if Madman Pondo, who does everything and anything, tells me not to do pencils, guess what? Think I might listen. So I don't do pencils. But I do pretty much anything and everything. If they bring it to the ring and it looks entertaining and nice, I'm gonna play with it.
Alright. Scooter, you have a question.
Yes. All right.
Don't forget the
You-
voting question.
It's too early for that. You're one of our.
Never too early.
You are one of our first guests with a fully fleshed out Wikipedia entry.
Oh, I do?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. I didn't know I had a Wikipedia. Did you know I have a Wikipedia? Oh, apparently my boyfriend knew I had a Wikipedia. I didn't.
Well, now that you do, how does it make you feel that in addition to your numerous matches, that you're immortalized in this century's greatest resource of knowledge? Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's fine. Technical
It's weird.
difficulties are a thing. That's good.
Okay. All right. So, now that you know you have a fully fleshed out Wikipedia entry, how does that make you feel that in addition to your numerous matches, that you're immortalized in this century's greatest resource of knowledge?
Not knowing what's in there makes me uncomfortable. Because, at one point in time, after I left a certain company, I was kind of like, I don't want to say badly marked against, maybe, because I retaliated against somebody in a company that I thought had done me wrong, and that was everybody's love bug. So knowing that that's there, I need to go and actually read some of the descriptions, because I've come across quite a few websites that have things to do with me or like anything in my career, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't remember that. But then again, it could just be a lot of concussions. So I'm always overwhelmed to find out there's these different things of me. Like, I don't know why. I'm just here. I mean, I've been doing it for 20 years, so I figured maybe it's because I've been here long enough, but yeah.
Well,
it's pretty overwhelming.
I can tell you for a fact that it features nothing slanderous whatsoever. It is quite the chronicle of your career. I will say I think it leaves out a couple of things, at least in detail, that we'll ask about. But
Okay.
I believe you don't have to worry.
Okay. I mean, I'm not going to shy away from anything. I tell people all the time, if you want to know, I'm an open book. I won't lie to you about anything. That's just like people asking me, well, do you care during an interview if we bring this, that, or that up? No, because I did it. If I did it, then I did it. Might as well just talk about it. I'm not shy, and I try to do the best I can, but absolutely. Like, if it's there, I'm happy it's there. It's something else that's got my name out there. So maybe one day I might be able to entertain or amuse somebody else just by looking me up. It strikes me as odd because I've got kids. I've got a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old that now go to this elementary school, and they tell all their friends about me. And now this is the age where all kids have like access to Google and YouTube.
Yes.
And so now, now I'm that mom that one person has that weird mom in school that everybody's like, holy crap, she'd be nice to hang out with. Wonder what she'd be like. Is she crazy? Yeah, that's what my kids have now. They're welcome.
That's awesome.
Yes. And James.
Yeah.
So you let me know what questions you have, and I'll let you know if it's.
What?
I see that, buddy. I'm doing an interview. Sorry, my godson's out here.
Hey, is it?
No worries.
Yeah, that's Pookie.
Now,
Okay.
you mentioned your mother, obviously. What do you want to show your children or have them get out of your pro wrestling when they see you wrestle?
The only reason I'm still going today is because I have a little girl. Not that she wants to do this wrestling or death matches or anything like that, because until she knew I did death matches, I explained to her what I do. I explained to her I've been doing it since well before she was born and all this other stuff. So I mean, they know of it. My 6-year-old snuck and watched me on IWTV one time when I was out of town and he was being watched, and yeah, now he's in love with it. So but what I want to show them is, one, you're never too old not to follow a dream. 2, I'm trying to make it a little bit easier because when I started in this business and I when I first told the guy that trained me, look, I want to be trained like a boy, I got laughed at and said, all right, you opened your mouth, and they beat the hell out of me like a boy. And I took it for 2 years and continue to go. And I want to teach my kids that no matter what, if you are going to do something, it's going to be hard, it's going to be gritty, but you've got to buckle down and do it. And then I want to make it a little bit easier for girls. It's not a perfect path, it's not a clean path, it's going to be a rugged path, but there's a path there for other females to follow to do these matches with hardcore and intergender, and a way that people won't automatically label them as bells and whistles, tits and ass. It's more about what you bring to the table as far as violence and aggression and believability. It's just that magical moment.
Absolutely, and obviously, you were doing deathmatch wrestling before deathmatch wrestling was cool for female wrestlers. And now there's so many.
Hold on a second.
No way.
All right.
I was saying, you were doing deathmatch wrestling as a female when before deathmatch wrestling for females was cool. And obviously now girls are kind of getting into it more so, kind of following in your footsteps. What does that kind of mean to you to have Masha, Casey, Kennedy, Sawyer all kind of follow into Mickie Knuckles, kind of footsteps?
So like I said, I'm one of those people. I have a hard time with compliments. I do. I suffer from extreme PTSD from other crap in my life. We all got stuff, right? So when people say things like that, my first initial reaction is, no, they're not doing that. I had no part in it, this, that, the other. But the other part of me wants to believe I'm a part of something that big, that I actually am accomplishing what I'm setting out to do. I feel like there's so much more work left to do. And I feel like now that there's more people to kind of shoulder that burden, to be that forefront, that nice front of aggression from a female standpoint. And they're doing it right. They're not doing it to where, you see so many times, and I'll put it this way. I go to death matches or shows where these guys, are going to do these death matches, big, hunky guys, whatever, and fucking they get nicked on the leg. And it's a bleeder, but it's not anything that's going to cause you to die. And they're obsessing about it the whole entire show, talking about having to go to the ER and get stitches and stuff. When I was raised in a time when I did these matches like this, that it was, you don't go to the hospital and get stitches. You super glue that son of a bitch and you go on. Now I've got these other females that have that same mentality of, it's not about being pretty. Like, our job is not about being pretty and bringing it to this, this ring, because you guys still think of it. Wrestling is still a very male-dominated sport. So you find very few all-female girl cards that, have some male matches as an attraction. And that's coming. I have no doubt of it. But with those girls at least helping it along and doing what they do and doing it without bitching and moaning and whining and complaining about every little nick and cut. And, at one point in time we were booking Queen of the Death matches, and 3 years in a row we had people no show because one girl decided, I don't know, 2 weeks before the death match, she went and got her boobs done. And she had taken this booking like 6 months in advance, so that was fucking stupid. Yeah, another girl says she wasn't doing it because she just got a new tattoo that she went and got with her boyfriend the week of. And we're like, okay, that's stupid. And then you have these girls, that show up and they're like, oh, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do thumbtacks. I'm not going to do barbed wire. I don't want to do glass. Okay. To each their own, but at the same time, if you're going to get into it, you have to know what you're getting into. Right. And you have to accept it. And you have to bear that burden. Because if you don't, then are you really fucking in it? And are you being more of a detriment to the cause than anything? Because all you're doing is making it seem half-assed. And if you do anything in this business half-assed, especially deathmatch wrestling, and you're a female, guess what? You better hope you look good half naked and you could blow somebody, because you won't be booked. People aren't going to take you seriously. Fans are not going to want to see you. And so it's great that I have all these girls now, that there's a selection, whereas before it was very few, very far between, in the States at least. I know LaFisto was coming down and doing CZW, and she kind of brought it to the East Coast that fast. And then when Sage was being trained by Supreme, Sage, wanted to do that as well. So she started tipping on there. I just happened to be lucky to be trained in a business where it was highly hybrid wrestling, a lot of mix of technical with hardcore, and I got lucky and I took advantage of that luck and I beat the hell out of myself for it. And if these girls are willing to do the same thing to get to where we need to go, maybe the next generation girls that want to do anything, whether it's deathmatch wrestling, they want to do fucking shit that is predominantly man ridden, to where before it was like, no, that's a man thing. Now they'll have it easier. That's what this whole thing's about, is just making life a little bit easier for you to follow your dream. You're still going to get hurt. You're still going to hurt yourself. You're still going to go through shit, but at least you won't have to deal with having to do it at people's resistance. And not, like, I wrestled in a show in England, and the whole months leading up to the show, they showed clips of just people beating the hell out of me. And it really did look like a domestic violence case. And these people were outside boycotting the show, and here I come, and I'm doing this deathmatch tournament. First round I was wrestling Ian Rotten, and I had to literally get on the microphone and be like, look, I'm sorry you feel this way. I know exactly what I'm doing. But they're not, they're not showing you what I do to them. And trust me, they get it as good as I get. So now it's not that bad. Now it's not like that. So it makes me feel good that it's getting a little easier, and I would like to believe that I'm a part of that. But at the end of it, like, I'm just happy there's all these good fucking girls out here that are willing to do it and go balls to the wall and share and carry some of that responsibility and not take it lightly and do what needs to be fucking done, because at the end of the day, deathmatch wrestling is art.
Okay. And I mean, you definitely are a part of that. Scooter, you have a question.
Okay. Now, undoubtedly, you are one of the most famous and infamous names in the history of not just the independence, but of the business itself. And you've accomplished so many firsts. Now, when you started out in IWA Mid-South, you started out as a referee, correct?
Well, okay, so the part of the training was the way training used to be done when I was coming in. You had to train with the company and train with the wrestlers, on top of the fact that you had to learn each position and what everything, like, I had to put up and take down the ring for years. I even still do it when I go to shows, if they're getting put up, whatever. But I did that a lot of times by myself. 2,000-pound ring, and you got to sit there and learn how to manipulate it to where it will stay up and not fall down as you're trying to put the poles in and everything else. Screw the boards down. So I learned I had to put up the ring, take down the ring, work security, work sound, work gimmick, work concessions, and then went to being a manager, and then went to being a referee, and like, I had to learn all the things before I was allowed to even debut as a wrestler. So you're right, I did reffing, but I did a lot of things behind the scenes before I was even allowed to be in the ring as a ref.
That I understand that completely. That's what Mikey Whipwreck made me do. Back when the NYWC was still taking rookies. But let's move on to another first. Being the first woman to compete in the Ted Petty Invitational. Tell us about that.
That was luck.
Really?
I had only been wrestling for about a year and a half, and that was complete luck because somebody ended up not being able to make the show. And I always have my gear, no matter where I'm at. For the first year of wrestling that I wrestled, I had over 300 matches because I would always show up with my gear. I would work multiple times in a show. I would do whatever it took to try to get on a card. And so, because I'm there and I have my gear, I lucked out and got to be in that. But even though I lucked out and I felt like I didn't deserve to be there, it was still a very cool part to be a part of.
All right. James.
Now, something also you're a part of is you was on PWI's top 500 wrestlers for the last 2 years. Congratulations, because it was just announced like a couple days ago. What does that mean to you to not only be a part of, the top females, but also be included in the top 500 wrestlers overall for the last 2 years? I mean, it was
I didn't know it was the last 2 years. I knew it was this year because my social media guy, Steve, he told me about it. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I remember I was on there years ago, and I was like, oh, that's really awesome. I didn't know about last year, but now that I know that, holy crap. Wow. I don't get it. I don't get me wrong. I enjoy being in the ring. I enjoy entertaining fans because, quite honestly, I entertain the hell out of myself. I crack myself up all the time when I'm wrestling because I do whatever pops in my head, and it feels natural, and mix that with the violence, and then sometimes you get somebody told me there's a happy Mickey face and you're getting hurt face. and they call it the Mickey mode, which I just learned about this at Flophouse. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I didn't know there was a Mickey mode. But to hear that I got to be on that, I don't know, it's surreal. It's very, I don't expect it. I never expect it. I always assume I'm never going to be in it. It's just the way I am. I beat myself up worse than any hater going to beat me up. Trust me, I say worse to myself on a daily basis. It's just how I am. I always think I could do better. I could have done this better. I could have tried better here. I could have done this differently and ultimately been better. So I'm actually flabbergasted. I don't know how I ended up on there, but I'm happy I did.
And then, it does seem like the last 2 years, like Mickie Knuckles has been operating on a different level. Obviously, listeners don't lie at this point. So
Divorce does a hell of a number to you. No, I'm not gonna lie. So I was in this relationship, this marriage. I cheated on wrestling with the marriage for 8+ years, and I was married to another wrestler who wasn't really well known, but it was to the point of he felt like I should have done more to get his name out there, and I felt like if he needed to do enough on his own to do that. And then it came to a point where it was, if I showed up at the show and they wanted to add me on, he'd get mad in the locker room, and I've known these people all my life, so then I had to choose between wrestling and a marriage. And I have kids, and, I chose the marriage. I thought that was the right thing to do. I quit wrestling for a little bit, focused on the marriage, and that was the wrong choice. And then now that we're finally going through this divorce, and it's like I'm unleashed. It's a whole nother, I'm allowed to be me. I'm allowed to do what I want to do. I used to get yelled at for having no filter and not censoring myself and not holding myself a certain way, and like just completely torn down at the bare minimum, like bare bones. And since going through this divorce, it is a different creature. This Mickie is a totally different character, because this is who it is now. This is a very, I don't give a fuck. This is a very, person that's been hindered for way too long, that I lost so much track of what I was trying to do and lost sight of what I was attempting to do in the beginning, to just have to sit here and, things happen for a reason. I honestly believe this. I broke my leg for a reason. If I didn't break my leg, I would have never left a bad situation I was in there. But I would have never met, the children, the father of my kids. So then I would have never had my beautiful babies, all 3 of them. And then, I wouldn't be what I am now. I probably would have been burnt out a long, long time ago. I probably would have done something stupider. I know for a fact I probably would have stayed in the same situation if I never broke my leg. So I feel like, I had been hanging on to something that wasn't meant to be hang on too long, and finally it was just like the doors opened up and like, all right, look, bitch, we're done trying to tell you shouldn't be here. You're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be there. And so what you're getting now is a completely different me, with more of the old school mentality of, I'm going to go as hard as I can every single match, no matter what, because we're not going to do this forever. I can try I'm gonna try my damnedest to be like Tracy Smothers, do this as long as I can, because he's the fucking greatest. He was so transitional throughout his entire career, and I learned so much from him. And what you're seeing is totally different creature, and it's more entertaining because I entertain myself. It's not just about what I can do for other people. It's about what makes me happy, what makes sense, what makes the fans happy, and deathmatch wrestling fans are the best fans. I say this all the time. Regular wrestling fans are great. Don't get me wrong. There's something about a guy or a fan that loves deathmatch wrestling. They're brutally honest. They'll tell you exactly what they like and exactly what they don't like. And if you do something they don't like, trust me, you will know. So, yeah, what you're getting is totally a different creature. And I have my kids to blame for that, too, because they're the ones that wanted me to go back to wrestling, and they're the ones that pushed me to do this. because I was, according to my daughter, I was like her superhero.
Aww.
You're bringing out that Mickey mode this time around.
Oh, they get the Mickey mode look all the time, but they just laugh at me. I tell them all the time, I got grown men scared of pissing me off, and I tell you all the time, if you don't stop, I'm whoop you, and they just laugh at me. I've never whooped my kids a day in their life, and they just laugh at me. Watch. Cece, I'm gonna whoop you. Exactly. Shoot, I'm gonna whoop you. Come on.
Scooter, you have a question.
There's so many avenues to go down after that. In 2008, PWI only had 50 female wrestlers on their list, when it was a separate list, and you were number 25 out of 50 female wrestlers in the entire world. Do you remember how that...
I didn't know that either.
Wow. Oh, okay. Well, then let's move on to July 6th, 2008.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No problem.
I'm trying to avoid getting hit in the head with flying balls.
Oh, no worries.
They're
Aren't we
playing
all?
soccer. Don't be dirty. My kids are here, bro.
July 6th, 2008, and you've mentioned this in passing already, the 30-minute Iron Woman match with Sarah Del Rey, where the report said it was an even worse injury than Sid at WCW Sin 2001. And yet you're back by the end of September that year. I have a quote here. Someone's account, and I'm using air quotes. I was there, and it was pretty horrible to witness. Earlier in the show, Ego Fantastico did a fairly standing running dive off the cinder block, wall to the left of the announce table. Nothing ridiculous, but still fairly high if you're a worker who doesn't regularly dive off anything higher than the second rope.
Nope.
I guess Mickey wanted to top that one.
Nope. You got the wrong person. I didn't want to top that. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. It was me and Sarah Del Rey in a main event of an IWA card. And Ian had told me, because he made a main event on an IWA card, that we had to go bigger and better than all the guys. When Ego did the dive off there, Ian came in the back. He's like, all right, you got to do a dive off the stage. And I was like, I don't dive. He's like, okay, well, but Ego did this, and I don't ever backtalk people, do nothing. And he's like, you need to do this. So I just did what I was told. I didn't want to do it. I told Sarah I was uncomfortable doing it. You can ask Sarah. She will tell you. I tried to. And she's like, well, just tell me you're not going to do it. I lived with Ian Rotten and his family. You don't tell Ian Rotten you're not going to do something like that and expect not to get it going all the way home and stuff. So I tried to do it. And I'm thinking, as I'm up there, I'm a big girl. I like Sarah. I don't want to hurt my friend. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to put my legs down at the end so I don't put all my weight on her. I don't want to break nothing. And instead I broke something on me. And then when I tried to roll away, Sarah got up and left immediately, because as I'm rolling away, she saw that my leg looked like a limp noodle, like a rainbow. And she had to fight throwing up. And so she ran in the back, and Daphne was on commentary. And then people laughed because I was like, I think I'm going to shock. My mom was a paramedic.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to she trained the paramedic, the EMTs and the EMSs. And so we went to the classes with her as a kid, because she's a single mom. And we would learn these things about, shock and what you do. And so when I felt my body go cold and started shaking, and I felt like I was getting super sleepy, I knew I was going into shock. But my biggest fear when you go into shock is you can stop breathing, you can stop swallowing, things like that. So I screamed out, I'm going into shock. I'm going into shock. And immediately after I said that, the camera cuts off. What nobody knows is I went into shock with Daphne having my head on her lap.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
As the paramedics were popping, they gave me 2 shots of morphine, still didn't kill it, like kill the pain or nothing. And then they couldn't get my stretcher locked into the ambulance. So they're flying around the curves trying to get me to the hospital because they got to take me to ER in Joliet, Indiana, or wherever it was. And as they're like going around the corners because my bed's not locked in, I'm slamming up against the corners and stuff. But before then, they had kept slamming my bed in there trying to get it locked into place. So I was like, can we just go? Because this hurts worse than probably the ride. And I was so wrong.
Mommy, I want to do it.
You, however, were back competing by the end of September.
It was still broke.
It was.
So,
wow.
So here's what happened. So after a few months, I went back into the same hospital. I said, is it healed? Because I need to get back onto TV. TNA said they would wait. I knew they wouldn't wait forever. I was promised good money, which was going to go to, you know, the house I lived in, which was Ian Rotten and Company. And so I tried to hurry up, and they told me my leg was healed. And I was like, okay. I kept going back every month, and they would tell me everything from it's phantom pains to I was just trying to get pain pills. What nobody knows is I never took the pain pills when they prescribed them to me. Those ended up falling into somebody else's hands. So I just took to smoking weed. Figured whatever, it's something to help. And I kept going back. I couldn't run. I couldn't lift my leg. I couldn't jump. I was doing these matches, having a hell of a time doing it without being in so much pain. Get away from the road! Sorry. And what was it? In April of the next year, I went back. It's like, look, I know you all think I'm faking, but something's wrong. They went and took another x-ray. They had me in a room. The doctor walked in. She said, Miss Knuckles, I'm not sure how to tell you this, but I pulled up your x-rays from last November. Your leg is not healed. I don't know why they told you it's healed. There's an 1.5 inch gap between the 2 pieces of bone. The rod's holding it into place.
Oh.
So the bones never grew and connected. And then I had to set up my second surgery, but when I set it up, the first time I set it up, it fell on the weekend before TPI. Mind you, I'm still putting up the wrestling ring, driving the wrestling ring truck, wrestling, working concessions and gimmicks, all with this leg, all with this broken femur. And so I was told I had to postpone it because they needed me readily available for TPI to put up and take down things because that was more important. So I postponed my surgery. And then when I actually had the surgery, because at that time an incident had happened which caused me to leave IWA because it was basically either I leave or I was going to be murdered. And so I left IWA and then went and had my second surgery, went to my sister's house, and it healed in 3 months. They said it healed so fast. So that's why I say it's the best thing that happened to me, breaking my leg, because I feel like that's why it didn't heal. It wasn't meant to heal because I wasn't supposed to be there anymore. I was supposed to move on. So yeah, no, I did not want to dive. I don't do dives. I know pigs don't fly. I don't even attempt it. And that's what happened. Now Tosh Bueno fans hit me up all the time. Hey, I saw you on Tosh. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Pigs fly, I know.
Oh man. Well, I mean, we may ask you about something else you appeared on a little later, but I'll throw it back to James.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you know which one this is, but there's a photo of yourself with Sawyer Wreck, Kennedy Copeland, and Jamie Lynn. Like I believe in like a brick hallway. That's just, 4 great names in deathmatch wrestling right now. Can you tell us about how that photo came to be?
So I was down in Florida. We had went down there. I had wrestled for, I can't remember the company down in Florida. I would know it if I saw it. I'm terrible with names, guys. But I was wrestling Sawyer Wreck down there for, they're no ring deathmatch company. Can't remember the name of it. I'm trying to think.
Peace on the ground.
No Peace, thank you. I wrestled Sawyer Wreck and did this whole match, bloody as hell. And the photographer was taking pictures of Kennedy and Jamie when I came out. And I went ahead and started getting naked because, when you got glass in your ass, the first thing you want to do is get it out of your ass. I'm a fucking sadistic person and I like some kinky shit, but glass in my ass does not cut it. So I was trying to get undressed, and they're like, "Oh, you're half naked and bloody. Why don't you take a picture with us?" So I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, this is what dreams are made of, I guess."
Oh my God. Oh wow.
When in Rome.
I get that. That's awesome. And could you maybe speak to those girls?
What?
Could you kind of speak on, Sawyer, Kennedy, Jamie, those girls who are kind of killing it in deathmatch wrestling right now?
Those are the girls I was talking about earlier, the forefront.
Yeah.
The girls, I don't have to do everything by myself anymore. I don't feel so lonely. I have a group of people now that I know that if I see a women's death match, advertised and I see these girls on it, I have no worries. I know it's going to come up to the hype, and I know it's going to live up to what we're building here. I have no worries about it. I'm not going to lie, there are some people that you book certain females. Like there's this little scrawny female that's down in, in Texas or something? But I don't remember. But she's a little scrawny thing. She tried to do death matches, and it's just, I was like, oh God. And then somebody's like, you want to wrestle her? And I was like, do you want me to wrestle her? Because I've got a lot of incidences under my belt. Because I end up wrestling people that hurt me, and then I get upset when they hurt me and do stupid things, and then I have to, and then if you're gonna punch me in the face, guess what? I'm gonna punch you in the face. I'm not gonna complain about it. And then I'm the bad guy because I punch people in the face. So, I got a lot of those. You probably are gonna ask me about them anyways. The BB Walls, Mike Levy, Chet Ripley, Charlie Kruel. Yeah, I had quite a few incidences. I try not to have incidences no more, but it just happens. When you get that snap Mickie look, when I'm in the middle of the ring and I'm going, are you fucking serious? Do you really want to do this? That's a legit shoot. That means we're about to fight. And you better throw it as hard as you're doing now, because if you get gassed, I'm not stopping. So yeah, but I'm happy these girls are helping me out. I don't have to do so much.
I didn't hear about the one with Charlie Kruel.
Charlie. So, bless her heart.
That was it, Anna.
That was an Anna fight underground, and we had rode up with Pondo and my sister and Charlie, and we were eating before the show, and Pondo told Charlie that the secret to a good death match is to no sell. And Charlie took that to heart, and Charlie started trying not to work with me, and so I snapped. And she wouldn't hit me back for one, and then she wouldn't. Things hurt bad enough as it is. Don't make me try to stab you for legit in the vagina. Like, don't make me go there. If you make me go there, you cross the line. And it takes a lot. Like, Chet Ripley had to knock out my teeth and donkey punch me to make me go off on him. Mike Levy kept headbutting me in the face, or headbutting me in the eye and punching me in the face until I, just started retaliating. And that was just me just giving back whatever he gave to me. BB Walls, I didn't know she was pregnant. Nor did I know that was her first death match.
Wow.
So now I try to educate myself about people I'm working with. And I don't believe them when they say, yeah, I've been wrestling this amount of years. Okay, well, what do you mean by wrestling? Because I have a different, wrestling once a year for the last 5 years does not make you a 5-year wrestler. So I've learned that the hard way through my incidences. But yeah, poor Charlie. She's learned from that. Because the week after is when the Chet Ripley thing happened, and she was at that show. And after the Chet Ripley thing happened, and then I came back, and Chet kept trying to come up to me in the locker room. I was still mad, and I kept telling him to back the fuck off, and he wouldn't back off. So then I had to hit him, and he looked at me, and I was like, "Told you, give me 5 minutes, and I'll come find you."
In the locker room?
And so I took 10 minutes and smoked a couple of cigars.
Yeah.
And calmed down. And then I went up and said, "Look, bro. I'm not mad you knocked my teeth out. I'm mad because you donkey punched me." That's exactly what happened. They were like, "You're mad because you..." No, I'm not mad because he knocked my teeth out. Shit happens. Mad because he jumped on me. I didn't know where he was, and it happens. But I'm mad because as soon as I got up and was walking away, he punched me in the back of the head. Like we were doing a rough style porno. No. I'm not getting paid that money. If I'm getting paid that money, we can talk. But I ain't getting paid that money. Don't donkey punch me back in the head and not expect me to get mad.
Wow.
Yeah. Good times.
Um,
Poor Chet. Now, poor. I feel bad every time I'm around a guy because he looks so scolded. Like I've just completely drained his soul. Every time I see him, he's like, Mickie, I'm so sorry, but bro, you don't have to. You took your ass whooping. It's cool. I'm sorry. You just kept getting up, and the ghetto redneck in me was like, oh, all right, you want some more? I was raised with a Catholic mom. You didn't get up, and you started crying when she whooped your ass. Otherwise, she keep going to the theater roll. I know. You just stay down when you had enough. He just kept getting up. I was like, okay.
Now that you mentioned it, and since I am currently smoking one myself, do you have a favorite cigar?
Oh, Romeo and Juliet.
Yes. Oh.
But they're expensive. But
yes.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yes, I buy mine in boxes of 100. That's how chronic I am. I'm Winston Churchill, basically. Now, if I say between Iraq and A Hard Place 2,
Okay.
Jerry Springer.
My daughter's laughing because of course their cousins showed them my Jerry Springer episode.
Now,
poor Scotty Vortex and OMG.
I was gonna say it's you, Scotty Vortex, and OMG without his mask, which was one of his
David without his mask. He's David without his mask. Yeah.
How did this come to be? Because I believe this
Drake
was the
Younger.
result of Drake Younger. Ooh,
Drake Younger
was wrong.
So Drake had this. Drake knew one of the producers for Jerry, and he had this this connection, and they were looking for some stuff, and Drake was already paired up with somebody else, and so of course Scotty and OMG and I, we all came up at the same time and trained together and stuff, and so he kind of pitched the idea with us. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll be that asshole. And I was probably about 20 in that. I was really young. I remember showing up. And see, here's the thing about Jerry. You got to take everything on a 50-50 slide, right? But here's what I learned. If you go on there and you claim that somebody is your relative, your blood relative, they make you prove that. So those stories of cousins that are having relations, or son and daughters and things like that, mom and dad, things like that. Yeah, that's the truth part of it. That's that 50% truth. So, and that kind of freaked me out because we had the one there, and then there was a little. She was a midget on our show. She was a stripper midget, and without going into too crude of details, so Scotty and OMG, she went skiing with them. With two, you know what I mean? With two poles?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I still, like, to this day, I can't get a straight answer because her arms were really small, like really short. I can't get a straight answer out of either one of them on how everything was close to proportionate to make that happen.
Oh my God. That is hilarious.
And I'm quoting this because my daughter is standing next to me and she's poking me going, what are you talking about? What do you mean? And I'm going to have to tell her something else later. But right now, I'm explaining to you in the most PG way I could possibly think of. Because now you're not going to look at Scotty Vortex or OMG and go, yeah, how did that happen? So.
Yeah.
Now,
I think I
this
like
was,
the wasn't better.
Yeah.
It is what it is, man.
This was, my research told me that.
Yes, she was a stripper. She's so wonderful.
The result of Nick Mondo. So it was Drake Younger that actually got the bookings for other wrestlers outside of the ring.
Yeah, Drake had the hookup.
So not Nick Mondo.
No, it might have been Nick Mondo for, like, Pondo went to Jerry a couple times. Jamie Dundee went to Jerry a couple times. So it could have been Mondo for that. I don't know who their hookup was. I'm just talking about the hookup that we had. That was it.
All right. James.
So, if anybody that's ever listened to our show knows that we have a great love and respect for the late great Tracy Smothers.
Yes,
You
that's my
know,
dad, y'all.
and that's what I was gonna ask. We've had some people that have talked to him and were friends with him. You had like a legitimate relationship with Tracy, and you have the
When
distinction.
I was trained, I had, at one point in time, I was training 5 days a week with the wrestling being on Friday and Saturday and starting on Sunday. And Tracy was one of my trainers. And I was, 18 at the time. I was a young kid. I met him when I was 17. And when I quit wrestling, when I broke my femur and had that second surgery, I was done because I had already been blackballed everywhere because the company I left, the promoter doesn't like people saying no to him too much. And so I got blackballed a lot of places because he told other promoters' wives, hey, if you book her, she's going to try to sleep with your husband, which has never happened. Yeah, hi. Yeah, Snuggle. That's what yeah, Snuggle. Sorry, my bad. And,
What does that mean?
shut up. And, anyways, so, it was Tracy because Tracy was doing this deal with a girl named Jessie Bell. And he was like, hey, I don't know what to do. She's getting this heat everywhere. I really need your help. I don't know how to talk to a girl. And I'm like, you just talk to her like you talk to me. No, she ain't like that. She gets hurt, her feelings hurt, but she's a real good kid. And da da da. And so Tracy kept talking to me. And finally he was like, no, you're just gonna go on a road trip with me. That's all you're gonna do. So he came and picked me up. He drove from Evansville, Indiana to Charlestown, Indiana to pick me up to go back to Evansville, Indiana, so that we can meet up with Jessie Bell. And that girl scared the hell out of me on the first car trip. Now I know why Tracy smoked so many trees. Cause she would do 90 while doing her makeup, talking on the phone, talking to us, not paying no damn attention, driving with her knee. I was like, oh my God, like Tracy's in the back going, I'm gonna die, man, I'm gonna die. Everybody dies, I'm gonna die today. So, funny story, Tracy really legit things. He met my mom at one point in time, and him and her hooked up. But see, my mom hated wrestling, and he said it happened in June of 1989. And he tells this whole story about the Steiner brothers being down the street at the KFC buffet tearing it up, and how her friend was in the back room with one of his friends, and how they were watching a movie, and then it led to other things, and he was not sensitive about it. My mom had already passed away at the time. My mom died when I was 13. But I was like sitting there going, man, my younger sister was born June 6, 1989. I'm pretty sure she hated wrestling, and no, that didn't happen. But Tracy would tell everybody I was almost legit her stepdad.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. An alter ego of Mickie Knuckles is Isabella Smothers. So, what does that mean to you?
I had promoters think that Isabella Smothers and Mickie Knuckles were legit two different people, because they would call and try to book me against her. And instead of me smarting them up, because I was like, okay, I'm gonna run with this, I'd be like, I can't stand her. If I have to wrestle her, I'm gonna hurt her. And then Isabella would be texting them and be like, yeah, if I have to wrestle Mickie, I'm gonna hurt her too. You better not put that in there because it'll be mega mass homicide.
I need a drink.
Oh man.
That's awesome. But what kind of was it mean to you to kind of have to share that legacy and being, obviously Tracy Smothers' daughter?
Well, that happened. Okay, so I was trying to work for ICP at JCW, and they were not big on women wrestlers. To them, women, like I said, were the eye candy, tits and ass. They walked out there half naked. They were pretty. I was not. They were skinny. I am not. So it took a lot for me to try to get in the door. And then finally, they didn't have enough refs, and Corporal and Tony and them were like, yeah, Mickie can ref. So they put me as a ref. And one of the first matches I refed was Tracy Smothers versus Too Tough Tony. And Tracy was always the big heel at ICP, or JCW. And so we're wrestling, and they go through the crowd. And I was raised to believe if a fan jumps in at you and attacks you, you need to protect yourself and the business and make sure you don't let that go unanswered. And so we're in the circle. Security's got everybody blocked off. Tracy and Tony's fighting. I'm reffing, and I see this girl, big old girl. Like she's tall as Justin Kyle, big old burly girl. She comes through the security, like somehow she gets through, and she punches Tracy right in his mouth. And she's got this ring that's got a spike in it, splits his lip wide open. Right as they're wrestling. And so Tony goes and grabs Tracy to check on whatever. And without even thinking about it, I jacked this girl up against the wall, started, beating the shit out of her, and then went right back to reffing. Not even thinking about it. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, this girl hit Tracy. I don't want Tracy to get in trouble for hitting a girl, but I'm a girl, so I'm going to do it. And then when we got in the back, of course, I got ribbed and stuff, and they, Corporal and them was like, oh, ICP's mad at you. They get sued all the time, blah, blah, blah. And then they pulled me in the room. They're like, so we heard you put hands on a fan. I'm like, okay, look, this is what happened. I'm sorry, because I just got to where I can ref, and now I'm going to lose this spot. And he was like, he was like, I have a question. Can you cry on the stand? I said, hell yeah, I can. What's up? And they said, well, fans always attack Tracy, but they always get sued because Tracy back elbows them or something. And then because Tracy's a man, some of these are kids and girls and everything else, Tracy can't see behind him when they're attacking him. So, they needed somebody to kind of watch his back. And so that's how Isabella Smothers was born. I was born to be there to kind of watch Tracy's back. And because I was a girl, it was like part of that double-edged sword of, if a guy does it, they're going to get in trouble. If a girl does it, not so much. And it's not the worst look on the company. And then we would do stuff during the match where I would take these moves from these other guys and eat a boot and, things that I do nowadays. And ICP liked it because it was something different, something unique. And then they started having me wrestle guys to where it was like me and Bull Payne wrestling the Ring Riders, or me wrestling Weed Man or Dysfunction, and and doing these characters and gimmicks. So I was allowed, I was the first woman wrestler in JCW, and that's kind of like how that whole thing started.
That is awesome. Scooter, you have a question.
Yes. Now, you've recently been approached on social media by a person named, and I think I'm pronouncing this correctly, I don't think it matters, Absar Faruqi. Or, as he might be better known, the random person who challenged you to a fight via Instagram and then immediately begged not to.
Craig.
Ah! Okay, that was a...
Craig, that's Craig. He sends me messages to Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. He's like, why won't you fight me? I'm like, bro, I don't need another incident. I don't know how many times I gotta tell you all this. Like, why? What have you done in your life that you want to put yourself through this? Why do you want to be a part of this? And he's like, I don't think you can take me. I'll fight you anytime, anywhere. And I'm like, no, you won't. No, this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna show up with the full intent to fight me. And then we're going to go and we're going to punch each other in the face, because that's, I'm good with that. If I got punched by Necro and brain damage, I'll take yours. And then I'm going to punch you back, and then you're going to get upset because eventually, I'm that type of person, I'll hurt myself to hurt you. And then I get another incident on my list where people are like, oh, well, Mickie did it again. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I don't need another incident. Calm down, bro. But yeah, he still hits me up to this day. I just told him, look, I don't know what you've done in this life to want to punish yourself that badly, but it's not worth it. You don't need to die today. Everything will be fine.
Oh, all right.
But yeah, it's Craig.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask a little bit of maybe not that unusual now. We've had Jewells Malone on the show. Mm-hmm. And a certain two-word phrase has popped up, which I'm not sure I'm going to repeat with...
Hold on 1 second. Kids, get out for a second. Just 1 second.
Maybe if I say the JJ Staples.
Shut my door. Oh, yeah. No. Heck yeah, I'll get stapled in the vagina.
I was going to ask, What's the worst thing that's happened to you with the stapler?
Oh, somebody got me. Okay, y'all gotta get out. Because I gotta talk about anatomy, and I don't want you to hear about my anatomy. Go.
Hold on. Damon.
Hold on a second.
Damon.
Okay, so somebody stapled me right in the clit.
Oh.
And I couldn't pee right for about 2 weeks.
Oh. Oh, God. Oh, God. It's as someone with
Amen.
And to top it off, it was the really long staples. The industrial staples. So it pierced it. I was mad as hell too, because I was like, if you lost me feeling in that area, me and you I'm gonna hate you forever. Like that's just gonna happen forever in a day. So yes, that happened.
As someone with
couldn't pee right for 2 weeks. I was so mad. Go in there and you got there's a certain way I had to sit so I didn't try to spray up, and it was terrible, man. It was It was really terrible.
As somebody with a and I'm going to admit this on air for the first time, with a permanent urethral stent, I feel that even though the anatomies are completely different. Ow! Ooh.
Hey, Cecilia, go tell her.
Just a little bit.
James, Beck.
Never mind, here I go.
Continuing the conversation, one of my favorite matches involved you and Jewells Malone. What was maybe the chemistry that you shared with Jewells that you just had fantastic matches with her?
Cause she's crazy too. She's the only girl. Okay, so look.
Are you talking about me?
No, Jewells. So when we wrestled for WSU, it was supposed to be Women's Superstar Uncensored.
Uncensored, yes.
And we were the main. And before our match, DJ comes back to me and he said, "Mickie, we're supposed to be Women's Superstar Uncensored." I'm like, "Okay, what do you need?" He's like, "Well, I need the uncensored part. Nobody's being uncensored." And I was like, "Okay, what can I not do?" That's all I need to know. He said, "Don't ask me about it, just do it." Okay. So, hold on, you gotta go away.
Yeah, really.
Hold on a second, my daughter came in here. No, you got to go.
Go tell Aunt Jessica to come here.
Yeah, go tell Aunt Jessica to come here.
Hi, come here, David.
Yeah, go Day Day. Hold on a second. Yeah. Go get Aunt Jessica and tell her to come here and get Day Day. So, I went in the ring and pretty much stuck a stick in her butt after I lubed it up with my mouth. And I had her in a tree woe in the corner. And this is after she stapled me in the veg. And I started headbutting her in the hoo-ha dilly. And then the camera was right there where her legs were split so you could see everything. And I gnawed on it with my teeth. You could see my teeth on it.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And I knew after that, when everything, she was okay, I even apologized ahead of time. You'll see me bow down I was going, "I'm sorry, bro." Because I told her I was going to do this thing, but I didn't tell her, I didn't know the camera was going to be right there, so you can't really fake it. And so I was like, nah. And then finally, we get in the back. She's like, "Oh my God, I loved it." I was like, "All right, yeah, we're good." She wanted to take that spin out slam thing I do on the concrete. And I was like, "Are you sure? You want me to hit your head?"
Where did the dollhouse come from?
We found it out by the dumpster.
Oh, wow.
It was perfect. It was just out back by the dumpster. I was walking through. I was talking on the phone. I pace when I talk on the phone. And I was talking on the phone, and I kept looking, and I kept seeing this top of the dollhouse and pink. I'm like, what the hell? I walk over there, and I grabbed it, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. It's pretty structurally, still there. And, it was pretty cool. It had a couple of things inside of it still, but I wasn't, interested in that. And I was like, all right, we're going to play with this dollhouse. I walked in and sat on the ground and said, "Hey." She said, "What?" I said, "I found a dollhouse." She's like, "Sweet, let's play with it." So that's how it happened.
That's awesome. I love to get 5%.
Wow.
Oh, hey, sis. Gotta talk about it.
You have a question.
Oh yeah, my boob popped out last night.
It'll be on IWTV.
It'll be on IWTV. I took off my shirt in the match with Hoodfoot and Eric Ryan, and my boob popped out. Literally popped out. Everybody's welcome. It's a nice boob. It's hot as hell in there. Just wanted some air. Yep. It had to breathe. Gotta let it breathe.
Oh my, I love it.
It was good.
God, and as someone who has done some work with WSU, wow. In fact, my first ever match that I announced was WSU Spirit Championship match between Brittany Savage and Tracy Brooks. I'm not going to bring up what Tracy Brooks did to me. Okay, let's bring it back to nomenclature and your last name. How many people that you have encountered have doubted that Knuckles is your legal surname?
Everybody. It's fun when I have to do airplane flights or anything like that, and they're like, okay, tell me your real name. So I tell them my whole real name, because it's all on my driver's license. And then they're like, no, we need your real name for the plane. And I'm like, no, I get it. And then they're like, no, Mickie, we need your shoot name for the plane. And I'm like, dude, it is my shoot. I have a grandfather named Bear, Bear Knuckles, because he was Native American Indian. And on my dad's side, and it's a shoot name, promise. But nobody believes it's my real name. And then I have a lot of people ask me how much it cost me to change my name. I was like, yeah, no, guys, I don't roll in that kind of money.
Born with it.
Yeah, it was natural. It was either this or the mafia. So my mother was Italian. I'll just put that out there. Y'all don't want to mess with them people. I can call in favors all day, every day, but we all know what's going to happen. I'm going to have to owe a favor, and I'm crazy. I'll get caught. Come on now, I'm not subtle at all. You don't want to owe people nothing. So yeah, wrestling saved my life. I don't have to go to jail for what I do. Right. New Jack helped out.
All right, James.
Well, you guys are going to go to the store with me, because I have to go to the store before it closes.
All right, we're going to the store.
Yeah, let's go to the store. It's
Hold on a second.
It's time for that segment once again. Mickie Knuckles' Bizarre Adventure. You're a pro wrestler that goes up and down the roads, and weird, crazy, and bizarre things are bound to happen. Can you tell us your road story that fits that description?
Weird, crazy, bizarre things.
Yes.
Have you ever ridden with Pondo?
No.
The whole thing is, it's an interesting time with your with Pondo. So it's interesting. Pondo is my spirit animal in a way that he just takes life and lives it to the fullest no matter what he's doing. So we had to drive down to Florida from Kentucky, and that sucked. But in our car, we had me, Pondo, Nina Monet, and a girl named Callie. And Callie is very much a valley girl, to where she's very preppy, totally not me or Pondo or Nina. But here we are, right? And so we're going down to Florida, and on the way down to Florida, we see signs for a 24-hour strip club that serves breakfast.
Okay.
Pondo goes, you know what? I think we should go there. I'm like, all right, cool. So we keep seeing signs, and there's beautiful women, and I'm like, okay, there's no way it's gonna, go past this and everything else. So we get there, and Callie's like, I'm not going in. I'm like, what do you mean you're not going in? I'm not going in that place. Traditional little girl. I'm like, all right, fine, don't go in. So we left her in the car like a dog with the windows cracked. And we walk inside, and as soon as you walk in, the very first thing you met with is this big old gift shop type deal before you get to walk into the strip club area. Everything is blacked out in this whole place, by the way. So you walk in and you smell it in the air, and you get this nasty, you gonna need a penicillin shot and a nice shower with some Ajax after you leave here. So I walk in, me and Pondo walk in, and we finally get in there, and there is, now, Pondo has a type. They're really, really skinny. Pondo likes, and young. They're legal. He cards them, but he likes a certain type. Fine by me. Each their own. That's why everybody can believe me and Pondo's never, fucked each other, because Pondo, never. Pondo, I am not Pondo's type. I'm too old. It ain't happening. The only reason he would actually have sex with my sister is probably get to her daughter. So, you know, because she was in her womb 7 or 5 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever the fuck it is. I'm not going to go there. Kids are not in the room, I could say it. So, fucking, moving on. We sit down, this big girl stops, and as she leaves the pole, there is a streak of stuff that looks like maybe she had sharted or farted and misjudged the fart on stage.
Oh God! Oh God!
So this is like right after I had ordered fried mushrooms, because anywhere I go, oh yeah, I had ordered these mushrooms. I'm not paying money and not fucking eating it, okay? So we had ordered these drinks, these mushrooms, and then we see this, and Pondo's like, and I'm like, you know what? I'm still eating it. I'm hungry. We haven't eaten. I'm fat. I'm gonna eat it. So then this one girl comes up, and she starts trying to hit on Pondo to get a lap dance with Pondo. And this girl's, I think Pondo said she was missing some teeth. Like it looked like somebody had like flicked the Tic Tacs at her mouth and like the game at the carnivals, you know, where you knock your teeth out. And Pondo's just looking at her, and she's talking to him, and you can see it's just like it's totally grossing him out that this girl wants to rub her it was a floppy vagina. I'll say this, it was out the sides of the string, okay. And I'm like, I'm watching to see what he'll do, and this motherfucker goes, you know, I'm not interested, but my friend Mickie here. I'm like, why you gotta throw, every time we go anywhere, if we're in a locker room full of young kids, and kids walk up to Pondo, pick Pondo's brain, he knows that I don't like doing it because I hurt people's feelings, because I'm really, really hard on myself and other people, and then I'm like, no, you know whose brain you should pick is Mickey's, and then he sends everybody over to me. Pondo's an asshole. He does it all the time. Every time I go anywhere with him, he's a dick. So anyways, so then she tries to come up on me, and I'm like, no, I'm good. She's like, oh, you don't have to be shy. All right, shy. It's not shy. I'm good. I'm 100% good. So we go to get up, and I stick to the seat as I'm getting up. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm sure I know what was on the seat. I don't want to think what was on the seat. I grabbed my mushrooms. I was like, all right, it's time to go. I went out, I got a tank top, and I wrestled in that tank top for about 2 years. Because I was like, if you knew how skeezy this place is, it fits me perfectly.
Oh. What time of the day was this? I mean, you said
it was 10 o'clock in the morning, bro.
Oh, so you ain't even getting the B or even the C squad.
we're getting worse than the 3 a.m. shift at Waffle House. We're treading in a lot of floppy vaginas and overused mammary glands. Like, it's not a good day to be a female in that place. If you have to work that place at 10 o'clock in the morning to try to make your bills, I'm telling you right now, the people that come in there, those are the guys that are finding you to put you in a hole and wear your skin. Like I looked over and this guy sitting there, he's got a T-bone steak and salad and everything else sitting there eating it. He's got a Fu Manchu mustache handlebar with a cowboy hat. Fat as, like, he put me in Pondo to shame how big he was. And I was just looking over, and he's like got these girls dancing in front of him while he's eating his T-bone steak, acting like he ain't paying no attention, but you know he's looking out the side of his little fake-ass aviators watching him while he's eating his steak, drooling all over the place. It's like, oh yeah, this place is class act.
You're getting the hepatitis D- squad, basically.
Right, right.
It's the only place where the other option for the eggs is fertilized.
Big question is, would you go back?
Yes, I would. so I can return the favor to Pondo.
Right. I want to go.
Hell, I'll go back. I loved it.
More minded to.
I walked away knowing that day that at least my vagina looks amazing.
Right.
Like, if anything else in this life, yes, I'm a big bitch, but I had C-sections, so it's good. According to my doctor, I got a pristine vagina. So anytime it pops out at wrestling, y'all welcome. And trust me, it does, because I don't know if you see what I wear, but it's a G-string. There's a whole lot of booty out. I mean, all of it's out. There's like a one piece of black in the middle of it. That's it. If that slides over 2 inches to the left, you're getting a show. Like, I ain't even sorry. Trust me, it's there.
I use this line often, but that's truly something only fans can appreciate.
I don't have one of those though. You know that? That's so weird. You would think I would, because I get a lot of freaks and weirdos with fetishes. Like I got this one guy that wants me to wear heels and walk on his face. I'm like, bro, do you realize how big I am? Like he's like, I can take the pain. I'm like, I don't think you can. I don't think you can. But okay. I was like, I don't know. If you can take that pain, I'm a little worried because I don't know if I can hurt you when I want to. I have other people want me to kick him in the dick as hard as I can repetitively. I had one guy that wanted me to move up north and wanted me to be his living slave master and boss him around and tell him what to do and never have sex with him because I would always have to tell him he had a pathetic little dick.
He wanted to be your son.
Dominated.
He was dumb.
Yes.
He wanted to be the power bottom.
And then in his words, he wanted me to take the biggest massive cocks I could find in front of him. And I was like, okay, we gotta stop right there, because you don't get through life and almost being 40 with this type of vagina by taking. You don't take anything down there, man. You can't take a railroad and try to run it through a fucking a garden hose. It's not gonna happen. Like, come on, there's a shallow cervix in everybody, and I'm one of them. We don't do that.
Maybe he wanted you to use them on him. I mean, classic power bottom.
No, he wanted to watch other people have sex with me. I had another guy that was over. It's like the northern guys. Another guy was over in Iowa, Illinois, somewhere area. He wanted me to have a relationship with him where I would have sex with other people and he would clean up me afterwards. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't know. Why do I always get the weirdos? I don't know.
There are definitely a lot of weirdos out there, and obviously you've had.
I'll be back.
Obviously, you've had an incredible career. Let's say so incredible that they're making a movie about Mickie Knuckles.
No.
Every movie.
I'll be back. I'm going to the store.
Every movie has a soundtrack.
Come on.
What would be the first 3 songs on the Mickie Knuckles movie soundtrack?
Fat bottom girls make the rock and roll go round.
Okay. Fat bottom girls queen.
I feel like that would be appropriate. I don't know.
Wait, so just the one song?
Oh no, there'd be a whole bunch of them.
Let's go.
Sorry, I'm walking through a house full of crazy kids. Hold on. Oh, okay. Are you cutting the garlic like jailhouse style?
Yeah.
Like in Goodfellas? That's awesome.
Paper thin so it liquefies right in the pan.
Yep. Nobody moved, or Polly didn't move for nobody because Polly didn't have to move for nobody. Hey, I gotta go to the store. You coming with? Come on, let's go. Apparently, according to my last conversation, we might be going to the store to get all kinds of dildo whips and chains. Are you interested? Are you down? Why are we dating? I don't know if I trust myself with you anymore. You're gonna hooker me up for $5 and a pack of cigarettes, and none of us smoke cigarettes. Jesus. Anyway.
So
Hey?
you've got one.
Sorry.
You have one song. Do you have 2 more?
Let's see, 2 more songs. Hey, if they ever make a Mickie Knuckles movie, what song do you think would be in it? I got Fat Bottom Girls, a Queen. Fast as You, maybe by Tom Petty. And Mama Said Knock You Out by LL Cool J.
Hey, all right.
That is a great 3 songs. I love it.
Your shoes are over on the porch.
Scooter, you have any last questions?
yeah, in addition to the soundtrack to the movie, if they were to cast a Hollywood celebrity to play you, who would play you?
If Emma Stone could put on about 200 pounds. Cece, what are you doing?
Everybody wants to go with you.
I mean,
He's an adult.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm arguing with my daughter. Go ahead.
All right.
I'll sit in the back.
Now, onto a controversial subject. Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance?
What?
Pineapple on pizza. What's your stance on
it?
I love it. You put pineapple and bacon on pizza, I'm in heaven.
Alright.
I am weird. You're just learning this about me. I'm your mom, and you're just now learning I'm weird. How long you been alive?
Pineapple on pizza.
It's delicious. We'll try it. Why? Who doesn't like pineapple on pizza?
Lots of people.
Oh, it's a 50-50 split with our guests.
I believe Jewells Malone does like pineapple on pizza.
Pizza. Does he like pineapple pizza?
Do you have a spirit Pokemon?
Do I have a what?
A spirit Pokemon.
Spirit Pokemon?
Yes.
He doesn't know what Pokemon is.
You lie, because I grew up on Pokemon. Spirit Pokemon.
I know.
What?
Spirit moon. You're
Come on, scoot over.
the moon one. There's no moon one. You probably be that short, stubby one.
I'd be a short, stubby Pokemon? What the hell?
Short.
You know what? You're going to be short too. Ha!
I like me. Actually, you're the rarest I got.
Aww.
Scoot over one side of the other so he can get in. Scoot over, scoot over, scoot over.
You're the rarest I got.
Oh, I'm the rarest Pokemon you got. My son's trying to become my new favorite.
I'll probably be a water one.
I don't know. I feel like Charmander.
I got you.
Yeah. I like Charmander. But then again, I'd probably be a Magikarp.
I got a water one.
I'm okay until you make me flip the fuck out, and then, yeah.
Hey, Mommy, I got a little water. I got a water one, and he got the best of the best.
What's that, baby?
He's like the best I got.
What's that? Oh, in your card set? Yeah, cool. Okay.
Yeah, and you have to turn it.
Awesome.
And it shines.
Sweet. So yeah, that would probably be me. I'd probably be a Magikarp. I don't know. My spirit animal's Tiffany Haddish. So I wanna hang out with her so bad one day. I just wanna hang out with Tiffany Haddish. She's the girl that plays the in the Lego movie too. She's the queen, whatever I wanna be. Yeah, that's my spirit animal. I watched her on that movie Girls Trip. Hysterical.
What's your favorite movie?
A spirit movie, Step Brothers.
James, I think we've been replaced.
What'd you say?
Weirdest question would be asked on a wrestling interview. Would you ever consider wrestling a Rock? Not Dwayne Johnson's, would you?
Not the country or hard place.
An actual Rock.
Sure. I had this dream, and I still want to do it, where I dress up as a squirrel and wrestle a man and keep going after his nuts. So I can't imagine. I can imagine about 5 different things I can do with The Rock.
Well, just for context, there's this wrestler named Psycho Mike that wrestled an actual Rock for over 15 minutes in a Tungsten Man match, an Iron Man match that lasted for 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's Canadian.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, what's that about? I feel it. I dated a Canadian once. It was a little weird during certain times, but you know.
Yeah, I get that.
Yep.
And like we've said.
How's that feel, eh? That was the biggest question. How's that feel, eh? I'm like, just stop. Anyways.
Sorry.
Again, we love Tracy Smothers on the show. Do you know the acronym for THUG? THUG.
T is for terrible, H is for hell, U is for ugly, and G is for jail, because a thug can't fucking spell.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
You are the first person to recite it flawlessly
I stole that shirt.
on the show.
Y'all don't understand. There was nights it was me, Tracy, and Jesse Bell, and sometimes just me and Tracy be cutting these promos, and I would sit out there on the outside as he's saying the damn thing, saying the same thing he's saying. He'd be like, I'm gonna hop in a helicopter, go back to Nashville, Tennessee, where none of you losers are, and I ain't ever coming back to this place again. And if I hear Tracy sucks one more time, everybody dies.
That's awesome.
Sometimes I still do Tracy Smothers promos when I'm wrestling, as I'm wrestling, because why not? One time Tracy was wrestling somebody, I was managing him. He was wrestling, somebody up for the Ohio company. Can't remember it now. Anyways, but because he was like, listen here, because I was supposed to be Isabel, and he's like, listen here, all you smart marks, I'm gonna teach you something. And he's like, watch this, Mickie Knuckles. I was like, Isabel. He's like, whatever, you know your name. And I'm like, okay, whatever, Trace. In the middle of everybody's listening to him. He's like, I'm gonna teach y'all what a Menacee pump hand or Menacee slap spot is. And I'm like, Jesus. And he did the Tennessee slap spot. He's like, Oklahoma pump handle. And I'm like, oh Jesus. And he went through and did the whole, like, he just started calling out everything. He's like, y'all want to be smart marks so bad, I'll treat you. I don't come to your job and tell you what to do. You don't come to my job and tell me how to make airplanes. And I was like, oh jeez. Dicey, what are you talking about, bro? I love you. He would do this where he'd put his hands up and he'd be talking to somebody else and they'd be like, all right, Tracy, what are we doing? He'd be like, you know what? I'm going to do this. And he'd put up his hands like he's ready to fight. He'd tell the other guy, you're going to do this, put up your hands like you're ready to fight. And he'd be like, and I'm going to do this, like the Flair Bake Off. He's like, then we're going to go home. Nobody ever got it until I saw him do it. What was it? He was doing it in, one of the Rock and Roll Express. Told you I'm terrible with names. Ricky was there. We were all hanging out with Ricky and his boy, and he did it. And Ricky's like, you know why he's doing that? He's smarter than y'all think. You know why he's doing that? And the kid's like, I don't know what's going on. He's like, he's trying to tell you how to do your damn job. I was like, oh my god.
I'm gonna start calling you Isabel now.
Don't call me Isabel. I hate Isabel.
On a more serious note, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Where do I see myself in 5 years?
Yes.
Hopefully I've started my own company. Or at least my own dojo. That's my ultimate goal, is to have a dojo where people can come and stay on the property, like have a sleeping quarters, and then have like a building where we can train and we can work out and we can do what I need to do.
Oh, if you need a ring announcer or play-by-play guys, yeah, James and I are definitely available.
Have one student right there.
Shut up. Nope. Y'all ain't ready for Miss Cece. The world ain't ready for Cece and Jude. Ooh, what? I'm driving. You're in the front seat. That's not allowed. There's a cop right there. You better sit down. Sorry. No, I'm joking.
What's a match people should go out their way to see that best of what Mickie Knuckles is all about?
Can we get a drink from that Kroger drink? Yeah.
You said a match that best shows what I'm about?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Hold on, let me think about it.
That'd be a really intense one.
It would. Any match I'm in with Randy West.
Oh,
You and Randy in the Typhoon.
Yeah, me and Randy in the Typhoon of Tubes match for RPW. I believe we went about 35 minutes, and it's called Typhoon of Tubes. We didn't touch tubes until about 15, 17 minutes in, because we went outside this armory and just destroyed it. Hung off a cannon and used it as a weapon, some doors and stuff. So probably that.
Can we find that on YouTube?
Huh? Oh yeah, it's on YouTube.
Alright, well, I will find that match and I will put it in the description of the video below or on YouTube. Castbox for anybody that wants to see it, hasn't seen it, wants to re-see it after this interview.
Yep. The first part.
And since we're nearing the conclusion of this interview, we are wrestling with the 8 questions of doom.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is our speed. This is our speed round, our bonus round, the round where we see who you really are. Are you ready, man?
Sure.
Excluding yourself, greatest wrestler of all time.
The greatest wrestler of all time?
Yes.
You had to do speed round, but I keep thinking of everybody. Johnny Saint.
Worst wrestler.
Nice.
Worst wrestler?
Yes.
The 4th edition of Doink the Clown. Where is your shoes? Shoes.
Your main event.
So,
Yeah. Scooter?
no, never mind. That's too much to think about who.
Your main
Hey, what?
He's trying to figure out which rendition of Doink was the 4th.
The 4th Doink.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your main event in WrestleMania for the World Championship. Who is your opponent?
So this is like really deep in my fantasy, huh?
Yeah.
John Moxley.
Ooh. Yeah, I think that. If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
What?
If you could come out to anyone's entrance music, past or present, who would it be?
Tracy's.
Yeah. Finish the sentence. Kayfabe is...
On life support, but not dead.
We would have also accepted is quite good on toast.
Squash. Fruit or vegetable?
You said squash?
Squash, yeah.
Technically, isn't it a fruit because it has seeds?
This is correct.
Exactly.
Oh wow, I'm smart, y'all. Too many concussions ain't got me slow.
New Japan wrestler Taichi, his ring gear gets smaller every year, revealing more of himself to the world. My question, what is the appropriate trunks to butt cheek ratio for ring gear?
You're asking me?
Yes. I feel like you answered.
Well, I am not the one to ask.
I feel like you
Like,
answered.
I believe just let it hang out. If it's gonna come out, it's there. Butt to trunk ratio. My butt is out. Like, it's there. It's always out. Yeah. So I'm not. I think just go balls to the wall. Why not? Literally.
Okay.
And the last question, the main event, the thing everybody wants to know. Have you ever had a conversation with a stranger in a supermarket about Darby Allin?
About Darby Allin?
Yes.
No? Should I? I can start one now. Hold on a second. Hey! I'm at the supermarket now. Hold on.
Oh my God.
Can I do this like a religious thing? Hold on.
Go ahead.
Sir. Excuse me, sir. Nope, that's her. You can hear it too. Have you heard the good word of Darby Allin? The Darby Allin good word, the book. The good book of Darby Allin. Have you heard it? It's fantastic. You should look into it. It'll save your life. You'll be baptized in the river of Darby Allin. Thank you for your time. There you go. Now I have.
And now it's the correct answer.
James, I think we're retiring that segment after tonight.
We might have to. Double.
Might have to think of somebody else.
Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with us, Mickie.
Oh, no problem. Sorry for all the background noise and stuff. You know, like I said, single mama 3, you get in where you fit in.
I have no problem with it. I loved it.
Thank you. My kids said hi.
And we
Tell them, say, watch my mommy.
And once again,
You want to be on the internet now? You want to do it?
Oh. Hi.
Hi.
Hello. Say, watch my mommy.
Yes.
Watch the floor.
What? You just rude. You just a hateful child. I can't believe you came out of my body. Anyway, you all have a great night. Thanks for having me.
Oh, hold on. Can you tell us where we can find you on social media and merchandise once again?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook and Twitter. You just search in Mickie Knuckles. You'll find me. I'm there. I'm everywhere. And Instagram, same thing, Mickie Knuckles. And then Deathmatch Worldwide. That's my go-to.
And of course, all of
So
those.
that's my go-to for my shirts. That guy is awesome. That whole company's great.
Of course, all of those links will be in the description of the video below or on YouTube and Castbox. Simply click the link, you will be in a new tab. You've been listening to her for an hour and a half. Buy a damn sword.
Yeah, god dang it.
Yeah. If you like what we're doing, please like, subscribe, comment on our YouTube and Castbox. Join us next Tuesday and Wednesday for another incredible interview. Of course, this was sponsored by Rogue Energy and Flavor One Coffee. Find us on Twitter at WrestleingWithe for who we're interviewing, when we're interviewing them, and links to those interviews, etc., etc. Wrestling with Them on Instagram as well. You can follow me at JamesJ992. Follow Felico at I am Felico, and where can we find you?
You can find me doing my next stand-up special live from Camp Lejeune, or you can find me on Twitter at Scooter Dust. Find me, James, and Ryan Dust hosting the remix on YouTube, the only premium audio companion experience and alternate commentary for all your WWE Premium live event needs next time we come to you, October the 8th. Extreme Rules, and on October 11th, I make my Dungeons & Dragons debut as I, along with Rico Constantino Jr. and the rest of the Smoking Dragons clan, compete in what I don't know what it is, but it's gonna be something. Twitch.tv/Smoking Dragons.
Now, Mickey, when I say wrestling wit, you say entertainment.
Alright.
For our very special guest, Mickey Knuckles, for Scooter Dust, I'm James J, and this has been Wrestling with
Entertainment!
Hey folks, this is the Colossal Mike Law, and you are listening to Wrestling with Entertainment. Enjoy the show, support these guys. We appreciate it very much. We'll see you at ringside.